I just want to ask you: are you shocked to see the Miami Heat make it all the way to the finals?
Yeah, I am a little shocked, Chris. I can't lie about that. For people that watch my show, I've said it all year long that the Heat won't win a championship because of three reasons: the bench, the point guard situation, and the center situation. But I was wrong. If you'd have asked me this a few months ago, yeah, I would have been surprised. But the way they matched up against Boston and what they did to Chicago, I mean, no, I'm not surprised anymore because this team is serious, man.
Going into the finals, we have to say one more time: do they have enough? Do they have the big men to compete with Tyson Chandler, Brandon Haywood? Who's going to defend Dirk? We really don't know.
Yeah, you bring up some excellent points. And in my opinion, Chris, for this series, what I would do if I was the Heat, just for a few minutes, I would definitely play Big Z. And I'm going to tell you why.
Oh, definitely.
Yes, sir, because there's two things. One, we know what Big Z likes to do. He likes to set the screen. He does the pick and pop. He doesn't roll. And what that does is going to make Tyson Chandler make a decision. Either he's going to have to stay with Big Z and not let him get that open jumper, and then that's going to give Wade or LeBron a clear lane to the basket, or he's going to have to leave Big Z and help out with Wade and LeBron and give Big Z an open shot. He likes to shoot that. So I would definitely play Big Z for some good minutes in the series.
What do you think about Deshaun Stevenson and Sean Marion matching up on Wade and LeBron?
And I think Deshaun Stevenson, even though he's the two guard, he can play his little three. I know he wants to match up with LeBron because you know how he was with the Wizards. I believe the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Wizards have played 2 or 3 times. And you know about those two, they don't like each other.
They don't like each other.
They sure don't, man. And then you got Brendan Haywood that doesn't like LeBron neither. Sean Marion, he's definitely going to be overmatched by LeBron, in my opinion. Even though Sean Marion has played very, very well, I'm actually surprised. He kind of like stepped into the hot tub time machine a little bit. And I think Wade is going to break out this particular matchup because I think his shoulder was hurt. This time off is going to give him a good time to rest. And this is going to be a good matchup because he really doesn't have to guard anybody, if you will. Jason Terry a little bit off the bench, but he's primarily mostly a three-point shooter now. So I like the matchup for Wade and LeBron James, definitely.
This is a rematch of the 2006 finals, but the teams are totally different except for Dirk and Jason Terry. They were around before, and Wade and Haslam were around on Miami before.
Great points. And you got Eric Dampier who switched sides. He used to be with the Dallas Mavericks. Yeah, now, because when he first got there to Miami, Chris, he said that he walked in and seen the trophy in the trophy case, and he said, man, that should be mine. So, Jason Terry and Dirk definitely know that pretty much they really messed up, man, and they let a golden opportunity go. So I think this time around, it's going to be a lot different. This series, in my opinion, Chris, is all about Dirk and LeBron. Somebody's going to be a hero and somebody's going to be a zero. So I'm really looking forward to see this matchup.
And I wonder if LeBron will actually defend Dirk. That would be something, wouldn't it? Because if he can go all these rounds in the playoffs guarding a different position in clutch moments and pull it off, that would be something else, huh?
Yeah, it sure would. And I think, and I've said this, I've gone on record and saying this, as of right now, even though Dwight Howard, as great as he is, greatest defender as he is, and he won the Defensive Player of the Year award, I still think LeBron James is the best defender in the NBA. And a lot of people think I'm crazy for saying that LeBron is going to be on Dirk Nowitzki in key situations. I think he can do a good job on him, Chris, and I'm going to tell you why. The thing about Dirk is his footwork is probably second to none. Maybe Kobe's a little bit better. He likes to get to his certain spot and score. I think LeBron, with his strength, speed, and agility, I know he can't block his shot a lot, but he would definitely keep Dirk Nowitzki off balance.
I think in this series, Miami, they kind of have an advantage because, like you were saying earlier, they don't really have to defend anybody on the starting lineup. I think that's a bad starting lineup for this series with Stevenson and Marion and Tyson. With that lineup out there, they're fast enough to even double team when they have that lineup out there.
Yeah, and I agree with that. You know what, Chris? I was thinking about this. I don't know if I like Mike Bibby starting in this series. Just because of Jason Kidd, how big and strong he is. I think he's going to be taking Mike Bibby down the block a lot, and you have to double team him. And Jason Kidd is such a prolific passer and a great low post player when he has a smaller guy on him. I don't know if I'm going to start Mike Bibby. What I would do probably to see how it goes first, but I might insert Mike Miller instead of Mike Bibby. The reason why is Mike Bibby pretty much is not the point guard for this team. He doesn't bring the ball up. He doesn't rebound. He doesn't play defense. His job is just to hit the open three. Mike Miller can do the same thing, but he can rebound. He can pass. He's taller, and I would put maybe Mike Miller on, Jason Terry when he's in the game, or Stevenson or something like that. And I'd probably put Wade on Jason Kidd just to cut the head off the snake, if you know what I mean.
I was actually thinking that they could start Mike Bibby because Kidd, he doesn't look like he's trying to score in these playoffs. He's kind of like, even when he gets an open lane, he's looking to make a pass this season. So I don't really know if he's going to go down on the block and actually threaten to score, even though he has done that in the past, and that's kind of a part of his game. But they definitely have options, and I think the small lineup will work in this series for Miami, just because you don't want to have to defend, Wade, Miller, LeBron, Bosh. You don't want to have to defend those four guys if they run that lineup, that small lineup.
Yeah.
And if you throw in James Jones, because in this series, they don't really have to defend any of the wing players. Only Dirk and maybe Jason Terry can create their own shot. So you could do something like that. You could have James Jones, Mike Miller, Wade, LeBron, and Bosh out there on the floor.
Yeah. And speed kills, like you said. The quick lineup for Miami would definitely be an advantage because, as you know, Chris, in the playoffs, the NBA game slows down. So as many fast break points you can get, the more you can get, the better. And I like the fact that Dwayne Wade in this series, I think he's really going to open his game up in this series because a lot of people, were talking about him in the Chicago series. And then you got the Bulls, and I was so disappointed in them with Derrick Rose just basically trying to score on his own a lot and stuff like that. This is going to be a lot harder of a matchup for Miami, not intensity-wise as far as physically and stuff like that, but you have to guard multiple players on the floor because when Dirk Nowitzki's at the top of the key, he's got so many options. He's got Page as a shooter, Jason Kidd's a shooter now, Jason Terry, Sean Marion, all these guys. So it's definitely they're going to have to step their game up on defense, the Miami Heat are.
The last thing that we can talk about is the finals format. You know how it's the first two home games in Miami, next three in Dallas. And then the last two, if needed, would be in Miami. So I think Miami has to win the first two games or else they lose the series, in my opinion.
I completely agree with that. I always said this, that sometimes it's almost like it's a bad thing for the home team to have.
Yeah.
You give a good team that goes to the NBA Finals, that means they're probably a good home team, right? Mm-hmm. So you're giving that team 3 games in a row at home. I remember when the Pistons in 2004 beat the Lakers. They split one in L.A. They won the first one, then they won the next 3 and won it 4-1. And I don't think that's an advantage for the home team because it's called home court advantage. Mm-hmm. So if you have home court advantage, even though you have more home games potentially, that's a big gap in between home games 1 and 2 to potentially 6 and 7. So definitely I agree with you, Chris, that Miami Heat have to win both games at home for sure.
And that's what happened in 2006. Dallas won the first 2 games, and it was looking like, oh, Dallas has this. They're going to win the championship. But the next 3, Miami won, and then they just kind of carried that momentum into Game 6 in Dallas. So those 3 home games are something serious in the NBA Finals.
But I do want to make a prediction, Chris.
All right, go ahead. Let's do it.
I want to make it on the Super Bowl of YouTube right here on your channel, man. All right?
Right.
I'm going to say I want the Dallas Mavericks to win. I do, for the reasons I stated before. I just don't like the way Miami came together. I'm not saying they cheated or anything like that, but I definitely want Dirk to get his, to avenge his 2006 loss, and he's playing such a great game. He's a good guy too. I really want him to see him win his championship. But at the end of the day, man, if I had to put my money on it, Chris, I got to go with the Miami Heat, man, and I got to tell you why real quick. At the end of the day, man, it's Dwayne Wade and LeBron James. They came here to win the championship. As great as Dirk has played, I think, in my opinion, the toughest series they played so far, the Miami Heat, was the Bulls, and that got them ready for anything. You talking about East Coast, slow down, grinding, grueling series. I'm not going to say this is going to be easy, but it's not going to be as grinding on their body as it is. So I think Dwayne Wade and LeBron can play more minutes in this because it's not going to be as physical, even though Tyson Chandler and Deshaun Stevenson is going to be all over, bumping them and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, man, you got two of the top 5 players on the same team. Chris, I got to go with the Miami Heat, man.
So in how many games? What are you saying?
Games. Oh, man, Chris, you're killing me. I'm gonna say Miami in 6.
Woo!
Yeah, you're gonna have to drive out there, man, and celebrate with them.